waiting for the winners of Dublin and Tyrone, the second All-Ireland Senior Football semi-final. That was careless from Niall Sludden, who won a good kick-out, took the mark as well, and now Tyrone are a little bit exposed. Dublin has got 4 forward, there's a gap for Con O'Callaghan, McNamee out of the game. Con O'Callaghan through! Goal! What a strike! This fella, he's a star already, but what a way to start the All-Ireland semi-final for him. 1-1 to a point.
The turnover, unfortunately, from a Tyrone point of view has cost them. O'Callaghan was direct, explosive and clinical the way he took that. That is a wonderful goal. So well taken and confidently taken by Con O'Callaghan. That's a great response from Dublin.
Colin Kavanagh left it after him, it allowed Scully to get in. Comes back to Tiernan McCann, who now works in Dublin. And McCann, well, invited to shoot from 46 metres away, and that's a really nice score. He did, and scored from a similar sort of range in the quarter-final. Beauty of a point.
Yeah, well, when you have so little movement up front and so few players up there, you have to take responsibility accurately from the middle of the pitch to put it through.
But Dublin pumping the ball forward quickly, and then it's caused an issue.
Yeah, but they're very quick to the ball. They're very quick to the breaking ball already. They're growing in confidence. That goal has really settled them.
And Scully is absolutely flying. So is James McCarthy. Width again from Paddy Andrews. Kieran Kilkenny was free in the centre, but Paddy Andrews has slotted that one over the bar. When they were talking in the week about the possibility of Connolly starting, his name popped up as somebody who could come out of the team, but he's got his first point. 1-2-2. Jack McCaffrey, Paddy Andrews. Could get another one here. Yeah. You don't expect to say this, but that's too easy. Tyrone aren't putting pressure on him.
They're not getting to the pace of the game whatsoever. Dublin have just set a tempo that Tyrone are finding it very difficult to live with, and their finishing has been absolutely wonderful. Very high standard, scores from difficult conditions, and the goal was an absolute... It was the collector's item.
McCarthy has Sean Kavanagh there with him. Kieran Kilkenny, Paddy Andrews, John Small, who was man marking. See, it's Con O'Callaghan as he is unable to hang onto the ball, but beautifully keeps it alive. Kieran Kilkenny invited to shoot. Another one, another point. A long period of possession, extreme patience, and that was the result.
Yes, we talked about Dublin's capacity to counter at speed, but we hadn't factored in actually their ability to be as patient as we have seen so far.
Philly McMahon just floating that in towards Paul Mannion, who has looked lively all year. Con O'Callaghan, Dean Rock, quick hands, quick thought, quick passing, quick shot. Another one.
Oh, it's beautiful interplay. Wonderful quality of forward play. Even though they are being crowded out, they're managing to get that little bit of space for themselves.
And Dublin have 15 players inside their own half to cover this Tyrone attack.
Yeah, and as we speak, even inside their own 45, Dara.
Cathal McCarron, Matty Donnelly, Mark Bradley. At 5'7", here's Colin Kavanagh, he's a bit taller. And Tyrone having to deal with Dublin's defensive screen, and Con O'Callaghan just wasn't strong enough in the challenge with Colin Kavanagh, and that's a really fine point, and maybe that'll be the kickstart that Tyrone need. O'Callaghan just not physically strong enough.
Yeah, and he took on the responsibility. He went for it. He realised that the short play, the interpassing wasn't getting them anywhere. They were going around in circles. He said, to hell with this. He, you know, had leadership, took on the responsibility for it. That's a very encouraging point for Tyrone, and badly needed.
Kieran Kilkenny, Jack McCaffrey, little pocket of space. Oh, he's brilliant. Swing of the hips and he's away. Here's Philly McMahon. A bit on the isolated side. Con O'Callaghan has space and just jinks away from the challenges. They are just playing irresistible football at the moment. Forwards who are in the form of their very young lives. This was super. There's loads of width. Here's Mick Fitzsimons on this near side. Dean Rock is hugging this sideline. Niall Scully was on the sideline in front of Mick Fitzsimons, but now he's drifting in towards the goal. Mannion coming out towards Fitzsimons, and he's playing like a right corner forward at the moment, or what used to be a right corner forward. They're not really that anymore. Paul Mannion, Mick Fitzsimons. Dublin have everybody inside apart from Stephen Cluxton and Keane O'Sullivan. They've 14 inside the Tyrone half, and the runners popping up all over the place at different angles. Brian Fenton got free, and Fenton fires that one over the bar. That is a gorgeous score. It has been all Dublin in the first 21 minutes of this All-Ireland semi-final.
They're running riot with Tyrone, and Tyrone are simply, they have to change the way they're playing. They're inviting Dublin onto them. It's okay to have this well-formulated system if you manage to get ahead of your opponents, but when you have conceded early scores in the way Tyrone have, there is no point to continuing to keep everybody in the backfield, so to speak.
Brian Fenton off the back of a peach of a point. Keane O'Sullivan just moving the ball so quickly. It's pace, power, energy. Con O'Callaghan got his goal, and he's in again. He's in again. A goal and two for the 21-year-old.
Oh, it's beautiful football from Dublin. It's patient, there's variation to it, but there is this blistering line speed, in particular when they go up along the wings, and they're just ripping Tyrone apart.
2 minutes of added time at the end of what's been a very good first half for the All-Ireland champions, but a bad first half for Tyrone. They need to finish it on a high. Peter Hart has time and has put that one over the bar. It's their first score in over 18 minutes, and it's badly needed. That's a lovely one from Peter Hart. Colm Kavanagh and Sean at the heart of it. David Mulgrew wrapping around the outside, and Sean Kavanagh kicked her wide in the first half, I remember, and there's another one. So three scoring opportunities. They've missed up two of them.
Yeah, McClure and Sean Kavanagh, they're dispiriting misses. They would have actually set them up nicely and, you know, helped them in their cause had they got them.
Kieran Kilkenny and now Niall Scully for Dublin. Huge pace. It's John Small, a wall of four Tyrone players in front of him. Paul Mannion. Mannion has been advised by Niall Scully to go back out for support, but he's taken it on himself, and Paul Mannion is the fifth out of the starting Dublin forwards to score today.
Yeah, lovely angle of running that time. Mannion very confident with the finish. Good reply from Dublin.
This, again, another long passage of Dublin possession, and then the tempo changes, the pace quickens, and who better to do that than Jack McCaffrey. McCaffrey, Tyrone just can't get near him. It looks like it's going to be Dublin's day unless Tyrone can do something very remarkable.
Well, no matter what system you have, if you have a superior calibre of player, then you're going to get scores like that. And McCaffrey is an absolute joy to watch. A
Tyrone goal and things could get interesting. Slutton trying to get past Keane O'Sullivan, trying to do it all himself, and that will help for sure. It's a point from Niall Slutton, and a very good one too. Their second of the second half.
Yes, Slutton just went for the gap, got inside. I think it was Keane O'Sullivan initially, got onto his left foot, fired a good score. He has a reasonable scoring record, but that's a very confidently taken point.
James McCarthy. First championship meeting since 2011. First time Jim Gavin has managed a Dublin team in the championship against Tyrone. Paul Mannion. Kevin McManaman fancies a goal with Rory Brennan. McManaman through. McManaman! Oh! Crossbar! Would that have been Mulligan-esque? I don't know.
Oh, that was beautiful. Little size up. The final one in particular was an absolute delight. Onto his left.
Owen O'Gara, Bernard Brogan and Michael Darragh Macaulay are the three Dublin players who are warming up at the moment. Matty Donnelly. Just keep listening to the noise or lack thereof around it. It's a surreal atmosphere.
Surreal atmosphere. And just watch the knot of Dublin defenders in front of their D, preventing that channel through the middle being exploited.
Colm Kavanagh, and that's how you beast the blanket. Be accurate from a good distance out, and he just sort of throws his arms out to his side in frustration. Ronan McNamee's interception. Declan McClure, Tiernan McCann. And Ronan O'Neill is in close to the Tyrone, or the Dublin goal. Niall Sludden, and Sludden puts over another one. That is more like it from Tyrone, and there's a bit of a reaction from their large travelling support in Croke Park. That's 3 points in a row for Tyrone.
Three in a row. Hart, Colin Cavill and Sludden. That one from a difficult angle. Now Tyrone have to take a chance and move up a little bit here. There is no point in them 6 points down, everybody getting back behind the ball.
Well, Paul Flynn has space and has the ability to shoot from long range, and you've just seen that again.
Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But what was a peach there was that beautiful little dinked reverse pass from Kevin McManaman to put Flynn in space, and he did the rest. Handsome point straight between the sticks.
Con O'Callaghan, nice. Eric Lowndes. Look at Darren Daly to his left. Daly can go to O'Gara. They're in again, and there is the icing on the cake. This 3-in-a-row dream is still alive. The hard lifting done pretty much in the first half. Con O'Callaghan's goal in the 5th minute set them on their way, and they haven't looked back since. And Tyrone will head home a beaten team tonight, and badly beaten. Oh, well beaten, dispirited completely. Darren Daly very unselfish that time. O'Gara in the right place, just flicked it to the net nonchalantly, but that sums up the Dublin play today. James McCarthy, Kevin McManaman, Eric Lowndes have got into a good position. Owen O'Gara, the goal scorer's got through again. O'Gara, point. Lovely score, and wait to hear the roar.
Here he comes.
85 days since he last played for the Dublin senior footballers. Diarmuid Connolly, the will he won't he saga was all through the build-up to this game. He didn't start. He's going to get to play a couple of minutes, and then he can start to really compete for his place in the All-Ireland final.
Yeah, he'll be glad to get some game time, and as you say, he is some option to be able to bring on to your team, you know, not having been on it for most of the summer. But just going back to that last couple of scores, the decision-making of the Dublin players when they get into scoring, positions has been wonderful.
And the referee's given a penalty for a foul by Philly McMahon on Colm Kavanagh. He's given a penalty. He had a perfect view of that, David Coldrick, but there was contact between them. Have a look.
Oh, it was a necessary one to concede that time. Philip McMahon is raging with himself. The ball was coming in, it was going wide, but he did clatter into the back of Colm Kavanagh.
Hart wants to get on with it very quickly. This has to go in, and it doesn't. He hit it straight down the middle. Dublin, well, that was the last glimmer of hope for Tyrone. Dublin on their way to the final for sure.
Oh, they're on the way. They have been on the way to the final for a long time, Darragh. They've been so vastly superior to Tyrone today.
And there is the whistle. Tyrone's dreams of getting to another All-Ireland final end. But Dublin, this bid to win 3 in a row and go where no team has gone from Dublin since the early 1920s. Well, that will continue against Mayo. We're going to have a repeat of last year's All-Ireland final. Dublin have beaten Tyrone and beaten them extremely well by 217 to 11 points here in Croke Park.
You know, I haven't seen Mayo since the first week in March that we played them, so all my focus has been on the Dublin journey this year, and we're delighted to get back to an Ireland final again. Didn't perform in last year's one, so it's all the work is with us this time.
So you haven't watched Mayo at all? Does that mean you have an awful lot of videos to be watching over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's just the way it is. I said all of our concentration went on Tyrone to see what they brought. Fantastic team, really well managed, but it was a challenge that we embraced, and we're just glad to get the performance, but semi-finals are for winning.
Yeah, this was a defining game for Tyrone. They were building for so long. They had their game perfected, the way they defended in numbers and the way they counter-attacked, and the Dubs just blew it completely out of the water. You know, that they're at a different level than any other team in the country at the moment from what we've seen. The Tyrone didn't have a plan B. They didn't have any other system of play than what they had today, and that was showed up. The key men that they were playing all year long, Peter Hart, Matty Donnelly, Tiernan McCann, their running game was thwarted. The Dubs, look, their work rate, their skill, their clinical in front of goal, their aggression, their physicality. Tactically, they got it right today, you know, and, you know, they're talking about 3 in a row. I'd be worried about a lot more than 3 in a row.
I'll go away now.
Yeah, I'm being very cute.
Yeah, well,
I can be far from cute tonight, Des.
I know that, but we'll talk about Kerry later. But in relation to Tyrone, so Tomas has said how strong Dublin were, but we saw how shell-shocked Tyrone fans were. Did everything go wrong for Tyrone?
Yeah, right from the first whistle, you know, things didn't go right for Tyrone. And the acid test for Tyrone was Dublin and how they could cope with the system that Tyrone was throwing at them. Dublin coped with the first 20 minutes. I would say that Dublin were awesome. You know, everything they done was as good a performance you would see in Croke Park. And going into the match, a lot of people would have said that Dublin feared Tyrone and didn't really want to play them. But I think any questions been asked of this Dublin team, they've answered it. And they're on the verge of becoming maybe one of the best teams to ever play GAA. Yeah. And I think they answered all the questions today.
Have Tyrone been overhyped, maybe, based on who they've played and maybe not having played at the same standard?
Look, at the end of the day, Tyrone won every game on average of 14 points, so anything that was put in front of them, they beat convincingly. The problem was Dublin hit them with an early goal. Tyrone was having to chase the game, and with the system not to play, they have to come out. But it took them the half-time to be told to change the plan B before they realised how to do that.
But wasn't that extraordinary? There was only about 25 minutes gone. Dublin had this big lead. Tyrone were still sitting back. The crowd were going ole, ole as each pass went, you know, from Dublin player to Dublin player.
I think that comes with the system they've built, and you know, everybody said coming into the game they had the best defensive structure in the game, and they've invested a lot of time, a lot of energy over the last couple of years in building that, probably with the Dubs in mind. But Dublin today, you know, nobody expected Dublin to win by the margin today. I felt it was going to be a lot closer battle. I thought Dublin at times would have struggled to break down that defensive system, but what Dublin done today was they chewed it up and they spat it out in pieces. Tactically, they were brilliant. They brought brilliant width to their attack. They dominated. They zonal pressed the Tyrone kick out and then dominated the break in the middle. And their work rate, as Tomas said, and their ferocious strength in the tackle getting back was unbelievable. It was a masterclass tactical performance from Dublin, and Tyrone simply had no answers.
Okay, they do their homework very well. They treat every game as it is, and they give them the respect. They do everything tactically right, and they go for the juggler. They've some amazing players, and they work as a unit brilliantly. And
it was a big test for Jim Gavin today, tactically, because he was coming up against Mickey Hart, and you know, he passed all tests too.
It was a knockout on the tactical battle, wasn't it? I mean, it was hard to believe that Tyrone then didn't react tactically as well.
Yeah, but I think, Des, what we probably saw today was that the defensive system that we've become accustomed to will probably win you a provincial title. But the top teams now have found a way around it. And Dublin have come up against this system for the last few years. Donegal caught them cold a few years ago, but they've worked hard relentlessly in training on it, and they're very, very comfortable with it. And I think this team, Dublin team, you can come and play football against them, one-on-one, they'll play football. But you can come on, put bodies back, and they'll find a way around it. And they just show they have a plan A, they have a plan B, they can adapt to